we have some urgent information as there's some new light come to bear on a very ancient virus, and this virus is extremely fatal. In fact, it's been reported in various authoritative texts that this virus is 100% fatal, and worse than that, it actually, if you think it can get worse than 100% fatal, this is one that you can catch repeatedly. It's sometimes known as the Imimini virus, which is also known as the I Me Mine virus, and it has great implications for the whole world, because it's more than a global pandemic, it's actually a universal pandemic, and it seems that everyone is completely affected because there are various doctors who have seriously researched the subject, and they've made it very clear that there actually is a cure, and the cure is very good. The cure is received both orally and orally, through the mouth and through the ear. So it's actually very good news. The bad news is people aren't even aware that they've caught it. So there's a great deal of work to be done to spread real information on this. It's also sometimes known as the Ahankara virus. Sometimes it's known as Novidya 19 to the power n, or Avidya 20. And this virus can be actually effectively cured by the administering proper doses of even simple things. There's even leaves and flowers and fruits and water can be administered, but they must be surcharged with a particular herb called bhakti. Without that, they won't have the effect. In fact, they'll simply compound the effect, compound the virus. So also by one very unusual type of cure, the oral effect, well, through the mouth, it can actually be effectively cured by uttering sound vibrations which have a particular potency. But one has to learn these. Sometimes they're known in circles as mantras, but there are particular mantras which, when chanted, or they can actually directly cure this disease condition of life and return one to full natural normal health, which is really good news. And also they can be cured by the uttering of descriptions about certain subject matters. This may be controversial, but by transcendental topics. These things, when the tongue is vibrated in this way, the whole disease can be effectively cured. But it's most effectively cured when both the mantras and the topics are received very carefully through the ear, because then they have great effect and they actually cure the disease within the heart at the same time. So it's really good to know about these things. So we have a lot of work to do to spread this real information. This is not fake news, this is real news. In fact, this is the only real news that is really of any value. And of course, while one may remain, even after being cured from the Novid-19 or the Avidya 20 virus, as it's sometimes known, then and another name for it actually is the I think Indus body virus, then in actual fact, by taking this cure, one may still be subject to disease and death and birth and old age, which come with having a body anyway. But the effect of taking this cure means that even in a short period of time, one can be permanently cured of those situations as well. So this is very good news, and we hope that people, on hearing these very important messages, will take advantage of these cures and help to share these around by all kinds of media. The good news is also that whereas the the leaves and flowers and fruits and water can't be shared by social media very easily, but the vibrations, even if they're in written form, can be shared widely and universally by social media, all kinds of media, by the phone or whatever. So we're requesting everybody, please take advantage of this vital information, get cured and get permanently cured. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
We just had an important update, and that is that whereas with the virus one has to not only get cured, but the wonderful thing is that the cure itself is an inoculation against future reinfection. So it's really important to take this on board, because actually the vaccine is extremely helpful, and you don't want to get reinfected, definitely. So this thing can be taken up as a lifestyle change and can have miraculous effect. So thank you very much.
So it takes quite some years, some grueling years, to get your head around all this stuff and to have a missionary spirit to help with this crisis of human civilization. I often tell devotees who are from Indian backgrounds, who are contemplating doing Western outreach, I said, just think what it was like for the Prabhupada's first disciples from America and Europe that he brought to India. And ask Shaka Devi that. Did they just immediately, it was like skating on ice for them? Oh, Indian culture, oh, India, no problem, yeah. We understand how to deal with every situation. No, it was a steep learning curve. But now, such devotees, no problem at all going to India. They know how to handle the situation. In fact, some of our senior Vaishnavas, when they go to India, can out-Indian the Indians. But it wasn't always like that at the beginning. It was a steep learning curve. So if it works one way, why can't it work the other way? As Prabhupada himself demonstrated. It was intense, it took some time. So if you can cross the bridge one way, you can also cross the bridge the other way. But it takes perseverance. You can't be sentimental. You have to feel real compassion, or at least be dedicated to developing real compassion. Then we can begin to understand the pain that Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu feels. The anxiety that Mahaprabhu feels. And the anxiety that Mother Yashoda feels. The anxiety that the Brijvasis feel in separation from Krishna. All right, any questions?
In terms of complacency, I remember I used to be like very much in anxiety about climatic changes, GM food, the 5G network, blah, blah, blah. But I just see this as a Krishna's arrangement. Kali Yuga must come, and these are all agents of Kali. So in that sense, if something has to happen, it will happen, because Krishna wants. And then every year there's a theory that end of the world, so usually it didn't happen so far, because Krishna is in control. So is that kind of attitude of complacency, you're right, because everything is in Krishna's control.
We want to carry out Krishna's order. Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say the same thing. Krishna says, Sarvadhamam Prachaja, Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Surrender to me. That same point is made by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Wherever you go, whomever you meet, teach the science of Krishna. That's the same thing as Krishna saying, surrender to me. So we want to harmonize with Krishna's desire, which is the desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the way of surrendering in this day and age is Dhare Teko Tare Ko Krishna Upadesh. Wherever you go, wherever you meet, teach the science of Krishna. Bhakti is for everyone. The low-hanging fruits that I often explain are certainly juicy and sweet. But we have to go further up the tree to the fruits that are higher on the tree, which may seem to be less accessible, but they're there. That surface opportunity is there. So no, we don't want to just say, oh, it's all happening according to Krishna's will, so I don't have to do anything. We're opportunistic. There's such madness that gives us an opportunity to get more recognition by Krishna. Anything else?
Thank you, man. Just on complacency again, I've just been something happened with me lately. I was thinking how before I joined the temple, lived in the ashram. When I'd come to the temple, I would be more appreciative of the devotees, and then I'd go away from the devotees. But now my life, I only know devotees, and it's been brought up with myself and some feedback that I'm maybe too familiar with the devotees, or don't respect people as devotees. I get complacent in my vision. Any help you could give?
Associating with devotees properly is a transcendental skill. It's nothing based on material social abilities. You're talkative, you know how to say witty things. Associating with devotees requires empowerment. That means begging the deities, please give me the ability to associate with devotees properly. It's something that has to descend, so to speak. You can't just have the gift of the gab or be witty or have an outgoing personality. To genuinely associate with devotees takes the mercy of Krishna, and we should always be begging for that. Come before the deities and beg, please let me properly associate. Let me develop the ability to properly associate with devotees. And before you interact with each devotee, you offer a prayer. Please let me see the glories of this devotee and interact with this devotee in a suitable way. Recognizing that on our own we can't do it. We're prone to familiarity. We're prone to false ego. Especially if you're going to do outreach to the wider world, you're going to have to be very tolerant and patient. Attempting to see as Srila Prabhupada saw, that these people are all little spiritual masters who Guru Maharaj has sent me to train up. You think that if they have the right opportunity, the right training, they'll be a much better devotee than me. Let me give them that opportunity so they can reveal their true glories as being much better than me. So one cure for being too familiar around the already established devotees is go try to make some new devotees. Then you'll appreciate devotees more. Anything else?
Correct me if I was wrong, you were saying that those who engage in devotional service, chanting the holy name, devotional service, they can't go back to material life. Is that what you said?
I don't remember saying that. You jog my memory more?
We're just talking about the devotional service and those who engage in devotional service. One who gets taste in devotional service, chanting the holy name, they can't go, they're not attracted to material world.
If you actually are absorbed in the dynamics of Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes, you can't go back, generally speaking. There's a verse in Bhagavatam that explains that, says that very thing. But then again, the question is, how absorbed are we? Do we just believe in Krishna? Bhakti means being progressive. Love means to be progressive. As Queen Kunti explains, just like the Ganga is always flowing into the ocean, similarly may my attraction for Krishna ever flow. If we're becoming stagnant, then we need to do something about it. Take advantage of that situation to push forward. But it's true. And Bhagavatam also says this, if you've actually tasted Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes, you can't go back. Then again, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is stated that if even a neophyte who understands Krishna is the same as his name is a pure devotee. What do you say about that? The point is made several times in one purport that you may be a neophyte, but if you understand that Krishna's name is the same as him, you are a pure devotee. So there are different levels, and we always have to be increasing our intensity because love is dynamic and bhakti is real love. All right.
Thank you so much for your class, Maharaj. I had a question in regards to something that you discussed in comparing the material and the spiritual. You talked about how in the material, they have the hope that they can get the things that they want, the things that they need. One can argue as well that as we're practicing devotional life in the spiritual side, we see people with these qualities that we one day hope to have and aspire to.
You see people what? What's that? Slow down.
Oh, sorry. We see people with the qualities that we one day want to have. So we're also hanging on some hope as well.
Of course.
Yeah, so how can we,
Hope in bhakti is glorious. Even hope against hope, as you know, Asharbandha, Rupa Goswami explains, is a motivating trait or characteristic in bhakti. How will I ever become attracted to Krishna's name? I have no love for Krishna. I have no love even for the processes for developing love of Krishna. Yet. So yes, you can hope against hope in bhakti. And because you're following Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, your hopes will be realized. Otherwise, dealing with Krishna is very difficult.
I was just wondering, with regards to outreach, how long should we spend with someone if we feel that maybe we've been cultivating them for some time and they're just not quite, we're not sure what their motives are, or they're not quite taking the next step? Do you have any advice on how to maybe cultivate that more, or how much time should we spend, or is there a limit like that?
You learn by experience, and Krishna will give you intelligence. You try your best. You're never wrong by trying your best. But gradually you become more expert at administering the medicine. But trying to give the medicine this way, that way, another way, for this amount of attempts or that amount of attempts, you're never wrong. You're doing the best thing. But the more you have experience, the more Krishna gives you intelligence. So that it's not a question that can be answered like X amount of times. You'll learn by doing, but if you never do, you'll never learn.